Happy Friday. Thanks for coming to practice. As always, if you're at home or in your office online, just check around and make sure you have a safe space. We will start on our backs. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to show up in person, to show up online, to be part of our community. As you make your way here onto your back, giving yourself some time to settle. Each one of us has our own unique way of finding grounding and stability. You might start by feeling your body connecting to the ground, to the earth. To feel the stableness and strength of the ground supporting you. You might blend this feeling of your body, the stability of the earth, with your breathing. Blending your awareness between your body being pretty still and your breath moving through the stillness of your body. And then the body with the breath helping to calm and slow your mind. If your mind seems really racy and busy, you might bring your mind and guide it gently to the rhythm of your breathing. You might guide your mind to the stability and stillness of your body. We'll take just a few moments here, pausing to notice. Noticing the body receive the breath. And with kindness and curiosity, checking in. What does it feel like in your body to take an inhale? What does it feel like in your body to take an exhale? Take 3 more full rounds of breath here. Noticing your exhale, we'll practice the full commitment exhale. Let go of the exhale. 2 more breaths. And then bringing your attention back to your body. Feeling and noticing what we can't see. So it can be kind of challenging to feel your back body. Can you feel the back of your skull? And the back of your shoulders? The back of your rib cage? And the back of your hips? You might include your feet, feeling your feet connect to the strength of the surface to the earth beneath you. So working a little more with the idea of core, we're going to really try to keep an awareness of the back of your skull, the back of your shoulders, an awareness of the back of the rib cage and the back of your hips. I'm going to slowly bring your knees up over your hips. And then come back to see and feel and notice the weight in the back of your hips. Feeling maybe a little more heavy or anchored in awareness for the right back hip and the left back hip. Can you then feel right in the middle, your tailbone, a little heavier, just a little weighted, like your tailbone could help anchor you. And then with your exhale, we're going to just straighten the legs a little bit, stretching out your hamstrings. And with your inhale, you're going to bend your knees. And we're going to do about 5 breaths of these. You're going to follow your own breath rhythm. So you'll all move at a different pace and a different rhythm based on your breathing. And then next time your legs are somewhat straight, pause. And check in with your back body again. Back of the head, shoulders. What do you feel through the back of the rib cage? Down through the back of the hips into your tailbone. Check in with your breathing. What does it feel like to take an inhale and an exhale? And then bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Bending your knees and bending your elbows towards dead bug. Right arm, left leg, starting right away with the contralateral work. We'll exhale, take the left leg, right arm up, inhale, bend. Exhale, left arm, right leg. So we're hinging at the elbows and the knees and anchoring through the head, the back shoulders, the wide back ribs, your hips, maybe adding a little weight and awareness in your tailbone. Side to side, a few more breaths. It might be a nice challenge for you to follow your breath as the cue. So you breathe and then move. And then we'll take all the limbs back up towards the ceiling. Bringing the awareness to the back of the head, shoulders, wide back ribs. Heavy back ribs, heavy hips. Right arm, left leg. So we're going to go outside to side now towards the floor. So you go out to the side and you come back in. So as you take your right leg and your left arm out, pause for a moment and then check in with the opposite hip and arm and shoulder. So you have your left arm out. Is your right shoulder anchored? You have your right leg out. Is your left back hip anchored? And then come back. Sorry, that was the mic falling out of my pocket. And as you go side to side, try not to wobble a whole lot through your core. Remember, your core is that rectangle shoulder to rib to hip area. And we'll try a couple more. The wider the limbs go, the stronger you really have to be, the more patience and awareness you have to have through that rectangle, maybe 1 or 2 more. And then all the limbs come up. You can lower all the limbs. We'll just pause and take a 5 breath break. Just give yourself some time. One of those benefits of coming back. You might pay attention to your body, to your breath. Notice how you're feeling. And then with your next exhale, one more time, taking all the limbs up to the ceiling. Coming back to the awareness of your head, back of the shoulders, ribs, hips, tailbone. Now your right arm is going to go overhead towards the wall or door or space behind you. And your left leg is going to lower down just a little bit. And then pause. Because this one, it's really easy to pop your chest or pop those back ribs. So we're really asking quite a bit of core to hold and stabilize as you stretch your heel from your fingers. And then everything goes back up to the ceiling. And you switch sides. So if you drop your leg too fast or you take your arm back a little too far, you might pop your ribs, you might pop your hips or pop that low back. Go slow. Sometimes adding the idea that your limbs are really heavy gives us a little more challenge. We'll do a couple more side to side feeling, trying to be a little more present and aware as your body moves from this place of strong stability. So limbs move out of the stability of the core. Maybe one or two more. And bringing all the limbs up to the ceiling, lowering all the limbs slowly. Pausing on your back. We'll take a couple of breaths. Go ahead. Let the earth, the ground just hold you here. Let your body let go into the floor or the ground and take 5 breaths. And then we're going to roll all the way on up to standing. So however you want to come up, maybe you want to roll to the side or roll up. And we'll come all the way on up nice and slow to standing. And we'll start with a wide stride. So as you take your wide stride, remembering what you felt from the floor. So remember how the back of your head was on the floor, the back of your shoulders, the back of your rib cage, and the back of your hips. So again, working from a place that we can't really see might feel a little confusing because we don't get to see those parts. Hands can come to the front of your hips. And we're just going to go up and down in sumo. And as you go up and down in sumo, imagine you were at a wall. And you could feel the energy of the wall kind of pulling you back. Knees going out over your middle toes a little more. If you want a little more challenge, lifting your heels, we'll do about 5 more. You also might want to follow from your breath. Inhale, feel your exhale, come on up. Great, 2 more. Great, and then we'll step the feet together, arms hang. Checking back in, finding, feeling your grounding. Grounding in relationship to your breathing, relationship to your mind. 3 breaths. Stepping your feet wide again. All right, so back of the head, back of the shoulders, Back of the ribs and hips, little bend in your knee. We're going to tip forward, pelvic flexion, and come back up. So leading a little more from your hips, ribs follow, shoulders follow, head follows. Sweet. Next time you tip forward, pause. Then have an awareness for the weight in your feet. You bring and feel the weight a little more out into the balls of the feet and the heels. And then, like when you were on the floor, muscle memory is the back of your head in awareness with the back of your shoulders, the back of your ribs, and the back of your hips and your tailbone. It's really, really easy for gravity to want to pull your spine to the floor. So spine more in the back body, back of the ribs really nice and broad and wide. We're going to just bend and straighten the knees 3 times here with your breath. Inhale, bending. Exhale, straightening. Careful if you're someone who tends to lock their knees. When you start to straighten, concentrating on not locking the knee there at the very end. And then find just the right place for your knees. And then lift the shoulders and come all the way on up to standing. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. So we're going to do the left side first today. Hips. So awareness, back of the hips, back of the ribs, back of the shoulders, bending, straightening that left leg 2 more times with your breath. Sweet. Next time your left knee's bent, pause. Can you feel the back of your shoulders? How about the back of the ribs? Do you remember what it felt like when you were on the floor about 10 minutes ago and the back ribs were down on the floor? Let those front ribs complement the back ribs by drawing down and back a little bit. So we're not pushing the chest forward. Sweet. And then we're going to tip like we did and come back up 2 more times. Going at your own pace so you can feel, notice the movement in your body. Come all the way on up, straighten that left leg. Left leg rolls in, right leg rolls out. Back of the head, shoulders, ribs, hips, bend your right knee. Straightening your right knee 2 more times with strength. Next time your right knee's bent, pause. Can you feel the back of your rib cage nice and wide? And even pause, maybe feel a connection to your breathing in the back of your lungs. Exhale, tip. Inhale, come up. And just tip a little bit. You have agency. So maybe you tip a millimeter. Good, last one. Come on up. When you're ready, straighten that right leg. Both feet face forward. Step your feet together. Arms hang. Catch your breath. Come back. Give yourself a moment to notice whatever you're noticing. Maybe that's your body or your breath. Maybe your mind is wandering off. Just practice noticing. And then as you stand, what's it feel like to feel your feet on the ground? Does it feel like to feel your feet on the ground as you're breathing? 3 breaths. And bringing some attention back to your back body. So here we go again, back of the head, out to the back of your shoulders. Okay, and we're going to try and feel the back of our shoulder blades now. So here's your shoulder blade. We have 2 of them, and they slide and glide on our backs. All right, so with your arms down, soft bend in your knees, strength through your feet. We're just going to swing your arms out in front of you a little bit. And then when your arms get to be about as high as your shoulders, when your arms go up, see if you can feel those shoulder blades slide up. And then as your arms come down, see if you can feel those shoulder blades come down. Sweet. One more. Feel that shoulder blade, maybe visualize that shoulder blade moving. Sweet. Let's step your feet wide. So you check in. What feels good in this hip? Maybe that's having your feet more straight. For some of us, taking your heels in and your toes out is going to help you feel a little more open and give you a little more freedom in that front hip. So you're going to choose which one feels better for you. Okay. Soft bend in your knee. Arms are going to float out and up and down and in. Then we're going to add the sumo. So we're going to add the squat and pull ourselves up. Going at your own pace. Inhale, exhale, come up. And you follow your own breath. So you won't stay with me. If you're in the room, you probably won't stay with anyone else. 3 more. Next time you come down into your squat, we're going to pause. Good, then we're going to fold. So having your arms out is going to be harder because your arms are like levers and weights. So we're going to fold over. And we're going to come back up. Good, 2 more. Tip a little bit. Maybe your shoulders come as low as your hips. Come back. Last one. Hold when you tip. Bring your hands back into your hips. And come back all the way to how you started on the floor. Remember your head, the back of your shoulders, the back of your ribs, and the back of your hips. You're working against gravity. You're resisting the weight of gravity to pull your head to the floor. You're resisting gravity, pulling your ribs to the floor and your pelvis. 3 breaths. With your next exhale, nice, solid, and strong, coming all the way on up. And stepping your feet together. Build your mountain pose and take 5 breaths. Just noticing whatever you notice. Noticing, feeling your feet again. The feet connecting to the earth. What does it feel like to take an inhale and an exhale? And stepping your feet wide. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. So you're about heel to heel. Yeah, your hips are lifted. Yeah, remember the back of the ribs in line with the back of the shoulders. So it's really, really easy here to compress your spine and push forward. So we talk every Tuesday and Friday about this belt of abdominal strength that helps the ribs draw down and back. Okay. So give yourself a couple exhales to reconnect to that. Maybe you remember that from Tuesday or last week. If today's your first class, you have this belt. We're going to exhale, feel these lower ribs. Cool. Connect into our bodies and then bend and straighten. 2 more. So just a total of 3. Good. Then let's add your arms. Exhale. Inhale. Good. And you're going to hold this one. Lengthen up through the back of the spine, wide back shoulders and ribs. Tip it over, elbow to knee or hand to knee. Good. Right arm's just going to go straight up to the ceiling like you're going to give a high five. And if this is too much for your shoulders, bring your hand to your hip. And just come back, whatever shape you're in. Can you feel your feet on the ground? You feel your body. Take 2 breaths. Exhale, come all the way back up. Switch sides, left leg rolls in, right leg rolls out. Give yourself a little moment to feel your legs, your feet, heel to heel, bending and straightening your right knee. Next time your right knee's bent, pause. Let your arms hang. Come back. See if you can feel the back of your head, your shoulders, the back of your ribs, back of your hips. And add your arms with your breath. Just 3. Nice and strong through your rectangle core. Sweet. Next time your arms are up, pause, bend that knee, tip over. Hand can come to the leg or the forearm. Left arm comes up like you're going to give someone a high five in front of you. Gravity wants to pull you a certain way. Can you resist that? Can you still feel a connection to the back of the ribs, nice and wide and long and strong? Sweet. Come all the way on up. Nice work. Step your feet together. Hang out. Notice what you notice. And give yourself about 5 breaths. You can re-anchor through your feet. Heavy feet, strong legs, strong foundation, light, natural breath. Sweet. I'm going to do a little bit of balance work, okay? So for some of us, picking up the left heel is going to be enough balance, okay? So balance can be really nice working incrementally. You can go to a wall, you can grab a chair if you're at home, whatever you need to do, okay? First, we want to feel safe and supported, grounded and anchored. So you might pick up your left heel, you might pick up your left foot. You can put your left foot down and switch sides. And then put both feet down. All right, so when we worked on the dead bug really helped us keep the ears stacked over the shoulders, stacked over the ribs, and stacked over your hips. Okay. So what I often see is the rib cage is the first to kind of lose the concentration or lose the connection to the core. And what that looks like for a lot of us when we're balancing is we'll do this. Like, woo, and we'll push the rib cage out like this. And that compresses the low back here. So it takes quite a lot of concentration and control to feel these upper abdominals and these lower ribs. So let's just start there with an awareness. Like, oh yeah, I don't know. When I learned this, I was like, oh, I have upper abdominals. Wow, I've never felt them. So you do. You have these muscles here and they connect, right? All the way down into here. So it's a really big belt. So let's imagine we have this big belt on. And that belt is tight enough to support us, but we can still feel movement in that belt. So you're going to pick up your left heel, ground through your right leg, use the awareness of your hip muscles and your hamstrings. So the awareness of all of this. And then as you pick up your left knee, see if you can feel a little more strength and connection. Maybe that's that connection of navel to spine, ribs, front ribs to back ribs. And then switch sides. Remember, ground through the left leg. Feel your left hip muscles, your hamstrings, abdominals, navel to spine, ribs drawing back. Good, one more time, just challenge yourself. This is, right, very much your own thing. You're the only one that feels this, so you're gonna challenge yourself as much as you need. You might be lifting your knee up higher. You might be taking an arm or two up. If you want to turn it into a tree pose, you can, or you could keep that knee in flexion anywhere. Maybe the foot's out in front. Can you come back and have a concentration and some control and an awareness for those ribs and abdominals and the space in your back? Keeping that, put that left leg down, switch legs. Or lift your left, there we go. Right, find that. And one side's probably naturally a little easier than the other. A lifetime of movement patterns pays off, shows us our patterns of strength and mobility. Good, both feet come down. It might feel so good just to put your feet down. Go side to side. Right. So stepping your feet just wide enough. You're going to swing your arms out and up. Bend your knees a little bit. All right, we're going to fold over or tip over. So bringing your pelvis over. You're going to have to find some rounding in your low back as you come up and over. There is no requirement to touch the floor. It doesn't mean you're not good at this if you don't touch the floor. Check that you don't feel any jamming or extra strain in the back of the legs or your low back. You might tuck your chin a little bit and look between your legs. And then we're going to bring your hands out in front of you and walk yourself out to tabletop. And then we're going to find our way down onto your belly. So you're going to go at your own pace. Stay nice and strong. And come all the way down on your belly. Cross your hands. Doesn't matter. You can have your right hand over your left or your left over your right. And just invite your forehead to rest on your hand. Invite your chest to relax into the floor. And then giving yourself a moment to reconnect to that place of stability and strength. Grounding What does it feel like to take a couple breaths with the awareness of your back, ribs, and lungs? So you have lungs in the back body. What does it feel like in your body to breathe into those back lungs? And then with an inhale, I'm going to walk your legs a little closer together and just lengthen your legs. If you could pull your pinky toes back, what would that feel like? If you could pull your pinky toes out of your shoulder blades, remember where your shoulder blades are? Pulling your pinky toes back. And then now, the awareness of feeling your pubic bone in the front of your hips. So you have a right front hip and a left front hip. Can you feel those hips nice and heavy? And then the length of your low belly and your low back. So just take a moment, maybe visualize your low back really long. And then pressing into the front of the hips, we're just going to lift and lower your legs a few times. Keep them straight. Pulling the legs back out of your shoulder blades. So you might feel really long from your ears to your shoulder blades, all the way down the back ribs, legs. Can you keep grounded through your pubic bone in your hips? And then the next time you lift your legs, pause and check in with your low back. We don't want to be jamming the low back. So again, we have to come all the way back to that navel to spine idea, those upper to lower abdominals. And then we're going to lower the legs. Let your head rest on your hands. Take 3 breaths. With your exhale, bring your hands down by your lower rib cage. Tuck your chin. Push into your hands, strong hands, wide hands. With an exhale, lift your chest. Pause, check in with your low back. Ground through the front of your hips, lift your legs. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, baby cobra, chest lifts. Next exhale, legs lift. Inhale, lower down. So you might want to keep it in pieces like that, chest, legs, and lower. Or maybe you lift the chest and legs together. As you go up and down in extension, keep checking in with your low back. Okay, we want to really be aware of trying to create length and strength, not jamming that lower lumbar spine. You might feel the strength and length all the way from the low back, mid back up to the upper back. Excellent. 2 or 3 more. It's really nice. Everyone in the room looks like you're moving right between your shoulder blades, getting that thoracic mid-back extension. No one's leading from the neck in the room. Looks really good. Nice. And then just come on down and rest. This is an exercise that's really easy to lead from the head and neck. So maybe at home you can do a couple more if you want. And that idea that you're lifting more from your core, not so much from the neck. It's really easy to just lift and overuse the neck and head here. So breathing through your back. And then with 3 breaths, we're going to push down and come to tabletop. So give yourself 3 breaths. I'm going to push up to tabletop. And then we're going to work just a little bit more in your mid back to get a little more mobility. So your hands can come out pretty far in front of you. Your forearms will come down towards the ground. And then you're going to push your hips back towards puppy pose. So strong hands, forearms stay down, and you pull your hips back, giving your backpack thoracic spine. So your middle back, some articulation, extension. If your forehead comes down to the floor, great. If it doesn't, great. You might start to feel a little more stretch through the front of the armpit, through the side of the shoulder, down through that lateral line of the rib cage. And settle into, the right shape for you. 3 exhales. And then with your next couple exhales, pull yourself back up to tabletop and flip around and find a comfortable seated shape. So you can find your own comfortable seated shape. That might be crisscross applesauce. That might be sitting back on your knees, legs out in front of you, whatever works. I'm going to take a moment just to come back to ourselves, remembering each one of us has our own way to reconnect back inward, to feel our bodies, to connect to our breath, letting our minds connect to body and breath. And just nice and slow and gentle, we're going to take a little twist over to the right. So taking the ribs and the shoulders gently over to the right. If you're someone who has a stiff neck, careful that you're not over cranking in your neck. You might even bring your head back around a little bit. And you're going to twist to the left. Maybe bring your head around. Good. When you're ready, one more time to the right. What do you notice? And then going to the left, what do you notice? Whole class, I've been telling you what I notice. What do you notice? What do you feel? Come on back. And we always spend the last couple minutes resting. So you can sit and rest. You can lie back. Taking an opportunity out of your busy day to check in with yourself, to reconnect with yourself. Using the last couple minutes, how can you use this time most effectively for the rest of your day, maybe even into your weekend? Take the next couple moments here in silence. Noticing, coming back. What do you feel? Where's your mind? It's okay if it's wandered off into a daydream. Just practicing a little more focus and awareness, we bring the breath back to your body and we start to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe draw the knees in and stretch out your back. And then we'll slowly come all the way on up to sitting. And we'll take the last 20 seconds to practice gratitude. So, feeling and finding 2 or 3 things that you have appreciation and gratitude for. Hopefully, you include your breath and your health and your strength. And finding the moment of gratitude and appreciation and settling for 2 or 3 breaths. Letting your eyes open. Thank you all so much for showing up and being part of the class today and part of this community. Big high fives to everyone online and in the room. Woo! Thanks, everyone.